Welcome to Transformers, the podcast about how business people and policymakers are creating a sustainable future. I'm your host, Kai Embren.
My guest today is Cecilia Repinski. She is the founder and CEO of Green Assets Wallet, the global platform for scaling green debt through blockchain and other emerging technologies. She has worked with sustainable finance since early 2000. Welcome, Cecilia.
Thank you so much, Kai. Thanks for having me.
You have now been working in what we can call the sustainable finance sector the latest 20 years. How and why did you decide to be a transformer in this sector?
That is a very good question. I am not a techie, but I have worked with sustainable finance. And I always had one foot in scientific research and innovation and the other foot in practice. And what I found in my work was that investors and other financial institutions were really stepping up, wanting to deliver on the sustainability transition and searching for credible investment opportunities with a clear positive impact. But from their perspective, there is a lack thereof. And even though we have seen this amazing growth of this promising green bond market, this market is nowhere near meeting the demand. And on the other hand, we have all of these needs to invest in the sustainability transition and to reach the sustainable development goals. And to me, these are really untapped sustainable investment opportunities. So I thought, how come we can't bring these investment opportunities to investors in such a way that they're able to make a well-informed decision on whether this is a credible impact investment opportunity? And that is what brought me to technology as an underexplored potential lever to break through some of these barriers holding the capital market actors back from delivering on the fullest potential.
Your background, do you come from the financing sector, or when we look at your education background?
I have a cross-sector education, both from sustainability, ecology, biology, and economics, and environmental economics.
So when we go into what we're going to talk about today, the fintech sector and development of different tools to get capital into important area related to sustainability. When many people who listen to this type of discussion, they could hear words such as blockchain, fintech, but they do not really grasp how it works. Can you give a view of what fintech changing the financing sector and what it means when we talk about blockchain?
Absolutely. So with the financial services sector today, there are two key defining forces. And one is sustainability and sustainable finance, sustainable investment. And the other one is financial technology. We see more and more solutions being provided that harness technologies such as Swedish Swish or any other solution that uses technology to make things more efficient. With the Green Assets Wallet, we are using financial technology in order to ramp up capital allocation and build more sustainable and prosperous societies. And we do this through blockchain. And I think that a lot of people perhaps still think about Bitcoin when they hear blockchain, but blockchain is much more than Bitcoin. Basically, blockchain can be described as a distributed database that records transactions in a way that is cost efficient and is also verifiable, and it can't be manipulated. So I'm going to say this again. It records transactions, and it does that cost efficiently and in a way that can't be manipulated or altered or changed. And with blockchain, we can also use something called smart contracts. That means that transactions can happen without a single intermediary. You can basically program that this action will happen when these conditions are met, for example. So it can be used to program and record basically anything of value or importance. For example, birth certificates or titles of ownerships, educational degrees, financial accounts, insurance claims, and anything else that can be expressed in code. So the opportunities with using blockchains are significant.
Is that this is coming out from the development of digitalization in society, that it open up a new opportunity?
Yes, absolutely. There are lots of opportunities with using blockchain for many different things. With the green assets wallet, we use blockchain specifically to inject efficiency and transparency and immutable trust into the green debt market so that we can help scaling it.
And can we say also that it's a question of blockchain is a software program, or is it more connected to hardware?
It's software, but what's interesting is that it can be connected to hardware. For example, Internet of Things, that can be, for example, smart devices. So if you, for example, have a smart meter recording energy consumption or anything else, that data that has been collected by this hardware can be fed into the blockchain, for example.
But when we talk about fintech, how will that change the financing sector?
It is going to change a lot of things that's happening in the finance sector. And my perspective is to use fintech to make sure that it shapes the finance sector in a more sustainable way.
So, but your startup, Green Assets Wallet, can you in a very practical way explain what Green Assets Wallet is?
So the Green Assets Wallet uses blockchain to support scaling the green debt market. And the reason for that was that we saw that the market really wants to grow both sides, meaning that investors are really looking for credible, sustainable investment opportunities that deliver positive impact on societies. And we also have all of these potential investment needs and opportunities to act upon. But there's a bottleneck in between the supply and demand, and the barriers are linked to cost inefficiencies as well as lack of trust or lack of the ability to gain trust and demonstrate credibility. I mean, there are both sides of these things where investors, they really want these credible assets to invest in, but also where issuers are burdened by administrative costs that hold back supply. So we saw that there's not really any cost-efficient infrastructure for trusted data. And this is where the Green Assets Wallet come in. We use the blockchain to deliver smart contracts for validation of green commitments and deliveries. For example, delivery on a specific standard. And we also use the blockchain for delivering quantifiable impact data of investments to the market.
Where do you find your clients?
Our clients are sustainable asset generators. And today we are working with the green bond asset class. So our clients are those who use green bonds as a means by which to raise capital for sustainable activities. We work with green bond issuers across all sectors and in every market, from the Nordics to Asia to Africa to Latin America. And we also work with global investors who are looking for sustainable investment opportunities.
But how can the green wallet assets help the green bond market to grow?
So investors, they get direct access to trusted green bond data and also immutable verification and quantifiable impact data. And this helps them understand the impact of different investments. It helps them with investment analysis, investment discoveries, benchmarking, transparency, etc. Issuers on the other side, they get access to a platform that they can use to effectively communicate the green bond specifics and achievements to investors. And they can also choose to showcase selected projects, etc.
It means that you bringing issuers into connection to good sustainable project. Is that the way you work?
So the way we see it is that this market needs to grow. And it both needs to grow in terms of the assets that are being generated and the green bonds being issued. So we need to support issuers to issue more green bonds that investors can invest in, because today there's a lack of supply of green bonds to the market. So by injecting cost efficiencies and making it easier and lowering the threshold for issuers, more actors can come to the market. And we're also making more investment opportunities available and accessible to investors, because today a lot of actors are missing out, especially emerging market actors and SMEs. So we are supporting these actors to demonstrate the credibility, demonstrate impactful investment opportunities, and bringing them to investors and making them investable to investors.
Do you see that your green wallet can help to build understanding and build bridges between the different actors in the market?
Absolutely, because this infrastructure is also creating clarity in terms of how those different actors convene and meet. It also works as a knowledge transfer platform. It has been co-created together with the market actors. So it hasn't been us sitting and guessing what the market wants. We have been sitting down with leading investors and also with leading issuers in this space. So to give a few examples, we have been working with the first corporate issue of a green bond, Vasakronan. We have been working with other leading green bond issuers such as Kommuninvest, Kommunalbanken, etc., and more. And they have been influencing the design of the green assets wallet so that we make sure that this really serves the issuers. It supports their processes. It provides them with a cost-efficient, user-friendly, attractive platform through which they can convey their impact data and other market data and promises in a way that makes sense and in a way that investors want it. So there's no second guessing required. It also means that new issuers coming on board can learn from the more established standard setting issuers and be able to hone in exactly from day one on the kind of data that they need to provide the market with and investors with. We have also been collaborating with investors. One of the first actors in our project was Öhman Fonder in Sweden, a boutique asset management firm. We also have a collaboration with BlackRock, the world's largest asset management firm, around supporting issuers to start using the Green Assets Wallet and also getting feedback in terms of the functionalities that make sense from the investor perspective. So this has really been co-created together with the market to make sure that the Green Assets Wallet really adds value to both ends and make sure that both of these types of actors can have a productive exchange.
Why do you think that the Nordic market is a leader in this development?
Well, for the Nordics, sustainability has always been a high priority politically. So I don't think this is a surprise. What I find interesting with fintech is that in, for example, Sweden, we both have a high commitment to sustainable finance, but to also have a high concentration of fintech entrepreneurs. So for us, when we started working on this, it was the perfect environment to create and combine momentum from both fields to provide a new solution and to push the boundaries of sustainable finance innovation even further.
Do you see that COVID is driving a new development in the economy?
Post-COVID, massive amounts of investments will be needed to reboot the economy, and it's everyone's responsibility to make sure that as we do so, we are leading the economy onto a more sustainable path. For that, the Green Assets Wallet can be helpful in terms of supporting sustainable investors, both public investors such as central banks, but also private investors, to understand, confirm, and have easy validation of that the assets they're investing in are delivering on said transition. So we are now moving into social bonds with the Green Assets Wallet. We are supporting actors that provide COVID response bonds. This is where we're going next. and also supporting investors to make use of the blockchain-based immutable smart contract validation functionality through which issuers can prove compliance with COVID response criteria and other sustainability criteria. So we can really make sure that the assets invested are really contributing to measurable and verified impact.
When you say social bond development, what do you mean by that? What sort of areas are you looking into?
So we're looking into areas with social benefits, and the market for sustainable finance started very much with green bonds and moving into social bonds, sustainable bonds, and going forward, I think we'll be seeing more of sustainability-linked bonds, but also loans, green loans, social loans, and sustainability-linked loans. And this is something that we are monitoring closely at the Green Assets Wallet and making sure that we can support.
So what is the advantage to use your tool when we talk about the fintech market?
So we are still just using a small part of the full potentials with blockchain technology. So going forward into the future, this is definitely something we're going to explore further. One of the barriers, we have talked about the barriers in terms of cost inefficiencies and verification, etc. But there are also barriers in terms of fixed admin cost per investment. And this leads to an inherent size bias in the market for sustainable finance, where smaller projects, smaller asset generators can't access capital because it's too expensive to finance or invest. And on the other hand, it's also not very cost efficient for smaller investors, such as retail investors, to come on board. And by using the blockchain technology, we could really eliminate that and eliminate the size bias and enable any size projects has access capital and enable any size investment, including a smaller retail investment from a private individual, to also be able to make an impact investment.
But your new Green Asset Wallet, can it help, for example, pension funds and others to divest from fossil fuels?
So the Green Assets Wallet focuses on impact investment, whereby one can put a boundary around a specific action or a specific impact to be delivered. So that is what it measures. That said, while it does work best for green bonds, social bonds, sustainability-linked bonds, or sustainability-linked loans, etc., it can be used in an engagement-based process, not for divestment, but definitely for an engagement process, whereby an investor can, together with a company, can define certain actions that need to be taken, and for the Green Assets Wallet to support how that action is being verified and also reported on, to ensure that these types of collaborations between investors and companies has some teeth and actually delivers measurable impact.
Well, a pension fund that are in a situation to divest and they need help to go into new areas. And will that be something that you are thinking of to offer services on strategies for pension funds?
So the Green Assets Wallet is definitely a resource for pension funds to locate and make new investment discoveries, be it social bonds, green bonds, or anything else. And also when they make those investments, this is the perfect platform to monitor how these investments are delivering on set promises and reporting on quantifiable impact. So it really provides pension funds and investors with direct access to trusted impact data. And that is how we can support.
How has the current moment changed the landscape for your company and how to expand this market?
In terms of the pandemic, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, I think that the interest for how the Green Assets Wallet can be a service has grown. I think that a lot of actors see this as an important tool and support tool to enable investors to locate more credible sustainable assets. I think that the demand for sustainable investment opportunities will increase even further, and being able to include more assets by being able to determine their credibility and their impact through the green assets wallet is something that supports these investors to identify more investment opportunities. For example, I meet with investors who say that we had this amazing green bond opportunity in this emerging market, but we lack the resources to verify that it will deliver on A, B, C, D, or this policy, etc. With the green assets wallet, this is provided in a cost-efficient and immutable way. To give you an example, we can work with spatial data, for example, remote sensing with satellite footage that can confirm the construction of solar power plants anywhere in the world. Can also confirm whether the forest cover has been changed in any way to make room for said solar power plants. But the validation can also use other types of assets that is being converted into digital assets on the blockchain. So it could be a certificate or proof of concept that you have delivered according to a specific standard. It can be an NGO report, or as mentioned, it could be satellite images. We launched the technology, the final technology, and during the spring we have been collaborating with Öhman Fonder and BlackRock to invite issuers to come on board the platform, supporting the issuers. And during the summer, we have built some very exciting investor functionalities that we will be launching in 1 or 2 months, after which we will be inviting investors at scale to start using the platform, which is very exciting.
Thank you so very much, Cecilia. And we will keep this discussion about fintech and green sustainable development on live in the Transformers program, and hope to talk to you soon again.
Thank you so much. This was very interesting.
I'm Kai Embren. Follow me on Twitter and LinkedIn, where I will be announcing the future guests to this podcast. And you can expect about 2 programs a month. And each guest has a unique story of making business and society sustainable. So find out more. Visit my homepage, kaiembren.org. Thank you for listening.